If you're watching this video, you have realized that your strafe in Apex isn't very good. And that's okay, you know. A lot of us have been taught wrong. You know, we've been taught very fast, and in first person, it looks like you've been moving fast. Look. Boom. You know, it looks like I'm strafing further than I actually am. And if I go in third person, I've barely moved. And that is one of the problems with FPS games, right? You can't exactly see how far you've moved. Because you're in first person, it seems so much bigger to you. And, you know, the easiest fix that I can find for any of you guys, and what's worked for me, is using these boxes as a guideline. You know, you just go from one side to the other, and, you know, that's a wide strafe, you know, you're actually moving, and it seems like a lot more already in first person. Then when you go into third person, you're actually moving a lot more. And something else you can do is throw a crouch in between this. You know, say you're in the middle, crouch down, you're even harder to hit, right? And the most fundamental part of that is making sure to remember not to over crouch. Because if you're over crouching, you're effectively standing still, because it might look like you're reaching the ground, right? But what the enemy sees is this, because your camera moves before your character does. So if you're spamming crouch, your camera moves down, but your character doesn't. And the animations on your side are completely different to the enemy's animations, which is not what you want, because what that means is the enemy's looking at you like this, and they just shoot that, and you're dead. So, you know, very easy fix, just midway through, crouch again. And, you know, once you've mastered that strafe, you'll kind of realize that a good player can track that very easily. So what you want to do is start introducing something I call mirror strafing. You know, there is a proper definition for that. I just don't know if this is the right definition, but it's strafing the opposite direction to your enemy. And this gives you two benefits. One, you know, you're kind of harder to hit because they have to aim across the screen rather than just in front of them, where if you were copying their strafe. But also, because you're strafing, in the average fight, you'll get recoils moving. And recoils moving, I explained it in 2 videos ago on my aim video. It's where you move fast enough to counteract recoil, right? You're moving at this speed, and because of that, for some reason, Apex just says, you know what, no recoil. No one knows why. No one cares to know why. It works, that's all that matters. You will see it from a load of pro players. It is something that makes your life a lot easier. And, you know, mixing that in with mirror strafe. But also what you can do is you can bait strafe. So say they're mirror strafing you. What you can do is, you know, you can bait to go right and then go left. So chances are they'll shoot to where you were. You know, that's 2-3 bullets. So that's like another 30 damage you saved. And then you're obviously aware, because what you've done is you've gone to the right. You know, the animation shows you're going to the right. Look. And then you go boom all the way to the left. You know, then you got cover. And having a good strafe as well as playing cover well is good. So, you know, you're crouching behind cover, right? And you know the team's there. What you can do is you can peek out here, strafe, boom. You know, obviously don't shoot the box, but you can strafe out, take a tight strafe back in, or you can strafe wide. You know, you get your recoils moving, you go to here. And alongside that, just make sure you're never re-peeking the same angle 3 or 4 times. You know, once, grand. But once you're going over 2, the enemy can just shoot that angle and you're dead, right? You want to keep changing angles. So you go left, you go right, you go on top. You know, you go over here. Just don't repeat the same angle, because it makes you a way easier target. You know, that will probably be in its own video about positioning. So I do want to go back and give my old video some more love. You know, better thumbnails, better style, better everything, right? But those are the fundamentals to strafing, and I'm just going to throw in a few good clips here to show you how practical this is, because it benefits your game a lot more than you may realize, because something so simple to fix has such a massive impact on your gameplay, and you will see that in the clips right now. You know, without further ado, roll the clips. This one was a perfect example of recoil moving. However, here, yes, my strafe was wide enough, thankfully, but, you know, there will be the very last clip, didn't strafe very wide, and yes, I still won, but could have done way better. You know, odd clips in here just to show you the difference between a good strafe and a bad strafe, because you can already see, especially in that one good strafe, literally no recoil from odd 30-40 meters with an R9, which is an SMG that isn't even known like the Vault is for having good range. So really, really do try and work these things into it, especially recoil moving. I will never, ever, ever advise avoiding recoil moving. You should always try and recoil move when you can, because it just makes your life so much easier. But that is all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. You know, if you like this one, leave some of your aiming tips, you know, your strafing tips, and leave a like and subscribe.